parenting, emotions, kids, feelings, growing, learning, wisdom. Let's jump into all of it on the Raising Emotionally Intelligent Humans podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Raising Emotionally Intelligent Humans podcast. I'm Heidi Lindeman. I'm your host. I'm a single mom by choice. I'm a therapist and a lover of feelings and emotions and the deep places of life. I have been doing a little mini series about the early days of momhood, from prepping to get pregnant, pregnancy, birth. Last week, I talked about the newborn days with my first. And this week, I'm going to talk about my experience of prepping for a second kiddo, how that happened, and the pregnancy with her, with having a toddler as well. And I just want to note this something that I think is funny or amusing or oddly wild. And oh my goodness, you cannot make this stuff up. I recorded this episode already once. And I happened to do it on Friday, May 22nd. And I recorded another episode also on that Friday. And I happened to decide to use my headphones that plug into my computer, thinking that might give it better sound quality. I'm super excited. I got it done. I come back to edit them, and there's no sound. No sound. None. None at all. So I literally recorded 2 episodes, like an hour or so of work that I cannot use. And it's hilarious to me because that day, astrologically, that's a little side passion I have, is listening to a million astrology podcasts and thinking about astrology. There was I'm going to get it wrong. Mercury Cassini, maybe. There's some kind of crazy astrology where there was wild, could be chaotic today. You never know what's going to happen. So then to have a total real, didn't expect that to happen moment later just blows my mind. That also made me late to the gathering I was going to have with my friends. It was just hilarious because I got there and I told them, oh, I was late because I was recording some podcast episodes. And then turns out those podcast episodes can't even work. Anyway, here we are, good spirits, and doing it again. And hopefully this will be the one that touches in your soul or more moms' experiences in a way that maybe I didn't tell it the first time. We'll see. All right. So we're going to go into newborn stage with baby number 1. So I'm 4 months postpartum. I'm standing in the kitchen, cleaning dishes. Baby's taking a nap. And I feel this energetic spirit next to me. I sense something around me. And I knew immediately that I was going to be a mom to another kid, and that was the baby, that her spirit was hanging around. I didn't actually know she was that its spirit was hanging around. Deep down, I knew that. And I felt touched, and I felt honored, grateful, tearful. Like, oh, I'm going to be a mom again. That faded pretty quickly. And parts of me come in, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Hell no. There is no way that I'm doing that again, giving birth. That was traumatic, and no, thank you. And later, I was talking to my postpartum doula who also happens to be a therapist, and was telling her about this spirit baby that's hanging around us. The internal confusion, chaos, uncertainty, even though there was this underlying knowing, and telling her, like, why in the world? Why in the world would I ever want to have a baby again when I really truly remember how challenging and hard and traumatic the birth was? Like, I get that there are moms who, like, they forgot how hard it was, or at least that's what I've heard. People forget how hard the birth was or the pregnancy was, and they're like, "Eh," and so they do it again. But I haven't forgotten. I am very well aware. I did not like that experience. It was traumatic. It's still held in my body. I'm still recovering from it even 4 months postpartum. I was still recovering it for, like, a year postpartum. I mean, honestly, maybe still am, and I'm 5 years postpartum now. Anyway, I digress. So I'm telling her that, and she just very kindly is looking at me, nodding with me, and like, "Yeah, I get it. I feel validated." And she also has 2. So I ask her, "Why did you have 2? Like, were your births traumatic?" She says, Actually, no. Neither of them were traumatic for me." Wait, what? Huh? But you can have a birth that doesn't feel traumatic? I could not conceptualize this. My mind was blown. I just sat with that. She's like, "Yeah, I didn't. They weren't traumatic. And there was some pain, but they weren't traumatic." Interesting. So I sat with that for a while. A lot of time goes by. My kiddo is maybe a year and a half or so, and I catch baby fever like no one's business. All I can do is think about having a baby. All I can do is want to have a baby. I am researching names. I'm looking up new baby stuff to get. I am fully immersed in baby stuff. It just totally consumes me. Even when I'm working, I'm wishing that I could be looking at baby stuff or doing something about a baby. And I just dream about having another baby and having a little bassinet next to my bed, having my little one, having her have a sibling. That'd be fun. And I knew, yeah, well, here we go. It's going to come true. I'm going to have another one. And then one day I was sitting and I was like, it's time. I had calculated in my head a million times when I wanted to have the baby in order to make my baby a Libra, because I am a Virgo sun, Aquarius moon, Libra rising. My first kiddo is an Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon, Scorpio rising. So my first kiddo was my moon sign. And I was like, I want to make my next kiddo my rising sign because I think that would be cool. I really had no idea why. I really don't know why I wanted that. But it was very, very important to me that she be a Libra. And I was going to do everything I could to make that happen. So I was calculating out when would I need to get pregnant to do that. And it's like, okay, so probably need to get pregnant sometime in mid-January, January-ish somewhere. Aim for maybe beginning of October so that we're not too close to either of the cusps in the middle of September, the middle of October. Like, let's land this baby right in the middle of the season, Libra season. And that meant at that time, I was going to need to wait 6 more months because it was the middle of summer. I was like, I can't do it. I cannot wait that long. No, I can't do it. And I said, oh, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? I was also thinking about money at that time, planning on how much money I would need for maternity leave. If I worked this much longer, how much I would be able to save, what that would mean for going back from maternity leave. I planned it all out and everything was like, you should wait until later, except for my body said, I want a baby. So I reached out to the donor, the same one that my first one came from, and asked him if he was available. And he was. I was so excited and I was so happy. And I was like, okay, let's make it happen. Let's do this. Come on. And it was actually October. And we tried. And I got pregnant. And then I had a miscarriage. I did talk about that miscarriage in the episode around miscarriages. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and go back to that. But this particular miscarriage was the one in which I was so able to be present with my grief that I allowed myself to deeply feel it and hold myself through the sadness and the tears and the pain, that the grief passed really quickly. It was interesting. And then I knew I had to wait another month or two, really, because I had to wait, give myself one full cycle because that's my rule. You must wait one full cycle before you try again to give my body time to heal. So I wait that cycle. It was like December sometime. And I was like, let's do it. And my donor was not available. It must have been holiday season or there was something where my ovulation time, he was on vacation or something. And I had a part of me that got pretty angry. And that was hard to have that part that I was angry. It's like, I so want this baby. I want it right now. I don't want to have to wait. And then I had another part of me jump in and say, there's probably a good reason for this. Your baby's more likely to become a Libra now if you have to wait another cycle. There's gonna be a good reason. It's gonna all be work out. It's gonna be okay. And I did only thing I could do is wait. And then January came, beginning of January, and I was ovulating. Like, all right, let's try. And I got pregnant and the baby stuck the beginning of January. And then I got excited because I mapped out, obviously, the moment I got pregnant, the moment that I thought that I could get pregnant, I already used the app or the calculator that tells you if you get pregnant this time, when's your due date? And my due date was late September, September 24th, somewhere in there. It may not have been the 24th, in that one, but it was around there. It's like, ooh, we actually have a chance, but it's gonna be close because the 24th of September is really close to the 20th, and around the 20th is usually when the signs shift. So I was like, as long as this baby doesn't come too early, we'll be okay. We're gonna make a Libra. Yay, excited. If she comes early, she's gonna be a Virgo, not a Libra. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I got pregnant in that first trimester. I was so sick. I felt terrible. I was exhausted. I threw up a lot. I reached out to my doctor and was like, I can't handle this. I cannot be this sick as a single mom. I have this 18-month-old kid that I'm trying to take care of. Or two, she was almost two. She was almost two. This almost 2-year-old kid I'm trying to take care of. I have to keep working. I don't have the luxury to not work as a single mom. I need the money. I can't do this. And she prescribed me some meds, some Zofran, pretty sure that's what it's called, which is anti-nausea medication. And that helped. For sure helped with the nausea. It didn't make all the throw up and going away. I still absolutely took Zofran and still threw up several times. But it eased it enough to try to function somewhat. So I'm in this first trimester, have Zofran, and my kiddo was going to turn 2 February 11th. She was going to turn 2. And I did what most moms probably do. I planned her birthday party. I decorated for her birthday party. I shopped for her birthday party. I had all her friends over her for her birthday party while feeling sick. And I look back at it, I'm like, why did I do that? That was silly. Like, she was 2. She's probably doesn't even remember her birthday party now. I totally could have just laid on the couch and been with her on that day and rested for myself. That's me thinking now, looking back, like, huh, I sure did push myself through a lot to have my kiddo's birthday party. That's interesting. So I have her birthday party. I keep feeling sick. There's days, so many days that I remember. I'm laying down on the couch after I pick her up from her daycare. She's sitting on the couch with the computer, which is our TV, in front of her. She's sucking her thumb. She's twirling her hair. She's watching Coco Melon or some other show that she liked. And that happened a lot because I was tired. I get enough energy, muster enough energy up to make her some dinner, often something pretty easy like chicken nuggets and some fruit, some frozen peas. So she had something to eat. And then I'd get her to bed. And as soon as that girl was in bed, I was in bed because it was hard. It's hard being pregnant and having a toddler, especially when the pregnancy is a hard pregnancy and I have to do everything. I definitely learned to ask for more help. I asked my neighbors and other family friends to pick up the kiddo, to bring her home, to play with her on the weekends, whenever I could get some help. But of course, I'm still mom. Mom still has to do all the things. And part of this pregnancy, I had this deep uh, fear, almost like a repulsion of this baby being a boy. I one day was talking to my friend and was like, I am not going to be okay. I like literally am not going to be okay. I'm going to fall apart, have a mental breakdown or something if this baby is a boy. And I remember thinking how, like, literally telling my friend, this is so absurd because I have always wanted a girl and then a boy and then a girl. But now I'm pregnant for the second time. And I'm like, I won't be okay if I don't have 2 girls. I can let go of having a boy, but I cannot be okay if I don't have 2 girls. And the desire and the intensity was so strong. Felt it through my entire being, my entire body, like deep in my soul. Like, I have to have 2 girls. And it seems so odd to parts of me because I don't actually care about gender that much, but apparently a part of me does. I am 100% okay with my kids deciding whatever gender they want, expressing their gender however they want to, and I will absolutely 100% love them and shift with them and use whatever pronouns they want me to use, whatever name they want me to use. I do not care. I love my kids, love them dearly. So it's so fascinating to a part of me that this deep desire to have 2 girls, that's so odd to me, to a part of me, but it was there. And I was anxious and spinning, and I spun with this a lot. I talked to my therapist a lot about it. I talked to friends a lot about it, and it felt like it was an eternity until I got to figure out what gender this child was. And I can't remember if it was the early, like, 8-week test that they can do. 9-week test or something, or if it was a 20-week ultrasound that they did. I think it was a 20-week ultrasound. Um, and I do remember when I found out it was a girl, this big wave of relief and joy and just gratitude tears pouring down my face of it's a girl. Thank God it's a girl. And she was. She was a girl. Right now I'm remembering that the ultrasound, the 20-week ultrasound, my mom was there with me. And we got to see her little face and her little arms and her little body all in there. She was a great, healthy, strong little baby. And it's just such a sweet moment to see that baby on that screen. Like that's the first like real picture of the baby where it looks like an actual human. That's kind of a wild and amazing. And I really enjoyed that part. Um, just thinking if there's anything else I want to share. I remember at the end of the pregnancy, I was felt really big. Like it felt like the baby was really huge and my stomach was really big and it was heavy and my leg would keep falling asleep because of the way she was pushing on some kind of nerve. And I would lift my belly up with my hands to just walk around really. Um and it was that part was hard. And then here's a funny moment. Okay. So it's summer. Summer has come and it's been hot. And I'm in my late second, moving into the third trimester. I'm like so hot and I can't handle it. Our house has already has 3 window air conditioners in it. But there's one more window in our house that could have an air conditioner in it in our living room. And I was so hot one day. I was like, put that little girl. I took my little kiddo, put her in the car seat. We drove to Home Depot and I'm like, I'm gonna find a better air conditioner. And we get one of the big ones that it's like a big box that's outside of the window, and then there's a tube that connects into the window, but it has more power. And we get that. And I have the Home Depot people help me load into the car because I'm super pregnant and have a toddler with me. And then we get home and oh my gosh, just imagine this. This big pregnant lady with a toddler. And she pulls out a skateboard, a longboard. She puts it on the grass next to her car. And she heaves that big old air conditioner onto the longboard. And then her and her toddler push it down the sidewalk. We get onto the sidewalk, down the sidewalk, all the way to the steps. Lift it up the steps, put it on the skateboard again, slide it right into the house. It was hilarious. Being that pregnant, be like, how am I going to carry this thing inside? I'm not really supposed to lift this much, but oh my God, I'm hot. So how do I do this? And I did it. And I set that up and oh, the cool breeze. Oh, that was one happy mama. Oh, I'm just gonna sit in front of this, turn it down to like 60. Make it cold in here, make it like a fridge in here. Which is just a hilarious pregnant moment. Um, yeah. And the rest of the pregnancy, other than it being really uncomfortable towards the end, it got a little bit easier because I didn't feel like as sick after 16-ish, 20-ish weeks. It did take that long for me to not feel sick anymore. And There, of course, was the gender thing. That was a big thing for me. Being pregnant in summer was really big. I definitely got in the pool as much as I could. Wanted to be cool as often as I could. And then we got to September. We were just waiting for the baby to come. And next time, I'm going to tell you the story of her birth, and we'll see how long that takes, and then potentially her early days, depending on how long that takes. And that was pregnancy with baby number 2 as a single mom by choice with a toddler who is about 2 for most of it. She was turned 2. Baby was born when she was about 2.5. So there we are. I hope this was stirring for your soul, or it felt validating, or it felt some kind of like, yeah, oh, she gets it. She knows. My pregnancy was something like that too. Maybe your pregnancy was nothing like that, but here's just another story of another woman who has had a baby and what that pregnancy was like. If this was helpful for you, please, I would love it if you could share it with another mama. Love more moms to hear this. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to leave a comment, a 5-star rating. I really appreciate anything that you can leave, and I really enjoy reading the reviews. So until next time, mamas, may you be well and loved. So as we end today, mama, may you know that you are part of a community. You are creating a better world for yourself and for our children. And I invite you right now, mama, just to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in and out. One more time, in and out. Know that as you breathe in and out, you are not alone. We all breathe the same air, and we are connected. And here's the credits. The Raising Emotionally Intelligent Humans podcast was produced and created by me, Heidi Lindeman. New at podcasting, new at hosting, new at producing, doing it all and figuring it out as I go along. So thank you for joining me. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. That's what helps the podcast grow, reach more people, so that we can really create the community that we are wanting for our children and for ourselves. Let's keep creating emotional intelligence in this world, doing it one moment at a time, one step at a time, one feeling at a time. Mama, we've got this together.